God is the strength in which I trust. God is the strength in which you trust. What's good, fam? We made it to lesson 47 of A Course in Miracles. And I just want to bring up the word trust right now. Today is a good lesson because me and you are going to learn how to trust that everything's always working out in our favor. And we know that whenever we are in our right minds, it's only whenever we are identifying with the ego, that part of ourselves that feels separated and worry and doubt and fearful, only when we're identifying with the ego, which is not us, which identifies itself with the body, which is not us. The ego makes you believe you're this body because this body is limited, making you believe that you're limited as well. But you are not this body. Thank goodness. You are just inhabiting this body for the meantime. And when you know that, then 100% of your stress goes away because you know that it's just an experience that we are experiencing. And back to what I was saying, trust. Trust is very important because whenever you are in your right mind and identifying yourself with the Holy Spirit and who you really are and the power that lies within you, you know that everything always works out in your favor. You knew that before you stepped in this body, which is why you decided to come, because you knew everything was going to be perfectly fine. And although you may have done a little detour and I done a little detour and we fell asleep for a little bit of a portion of our lives, we are reawoken right here and now, and we know that there is nothing that could ever not go in the way that we desire it to. And it only does whenever we step in the way and interfere with what God is doing through us. And we're going to learn how this makes sense on a more practical level as we read today's lesson. Those are just a few words that I wanted to get off my chest and kind of introduce today's lesson with, because I know trust has helped me a lot whenever I am asleep and I forget who I am and I am worried that something I desire is not going to come to pass or something I don't want is going to happen. All those worry, doubt, and fear-based thoughts go through my mind. I have to learn in that moment to have trust. You know what? Let me remember who and what I am and the power that lies within me, and understand that right now the only reason I'm fearful is because I'm only looking on my radar screen, which is just this tiny little portion of who I see every day and what I do every day and the routes I take every day whenever I'm out and about in the city or the state or whatever the case may be. This radar screen is so limited compared to what is really out there, and God knows everything and everyone and is orchestrating your life to play out in the best possible way that is most conducive to your success and everyone else around you. And it's only whenever me and you get in the way with our thoughts, when we get in the way and interfere with that plan, that things go in a way that wouldn't be best for me and you and the people around us. So let's go ahead and dive straight into this lesson. And we're just going to be blown away like usual by the way that it conveys this message. If you got the book, you already know what to do. Lesson 47. If you don't got the book, make sure to consider getting the book at some point very soon. And for the meantime, the PDF is in the description. Let's go ahead and dive right into this baby and break it down. Lesson 47 of A Course in Miracles. God is the strength in which I trust. If you are trusting in your own strength, you have every reason to be apprehensive, anxious, and fearful. What can you predict or control? What is there in you that can be counted on? What would give you the ability to be aware of all the facets of any problem and to resolve them in such a way that only good can come of it? What is there in you that gives you the recognition of the right solution and the guarantee that it will be accomplished? Of course, you can do none of these things. To believe that you can is to put your trust where trust is unwarranted, and to justify fear, anxiety, depression, anger, and sorrow. Who can put his faith in weakness and feel safe? Yet, who can put his faith in strength and feel weak? God is your safety in every circumstance. His voice speaks for him in all situations and in every aspect of all situations, telling you exactly what to do to call upon his strength and his protection. There are no exceptions because God has no exceptions. And the voice which speaks for him thinks as he does. Today, we will try to reach past your own weakness to the source of real strength. 4 5-minute practice periods are necessary today, and longer and more frequent ones are urged. Close your eyes and begin, as usual, by repeating the idea for today. Then, spend a minute or two in searching for situations in your life which you have invested with fear, dismissing each one by telling yourself, God is the strength in which I trust. So we're going to do a few of these together like usual, so that way we have more of a better understanding of how to do this when we do it individually today. But it states, and one more time, I repeat, then spend a minute or two in searching for situations in your life which you have invested with fear, dismissing each one by telling yourself, God is the strength in which I trust. So right now, we are going to take our time and really search our minds for any situation that has been going on in our life, any person, any event, whatever it may be that has been causing you fear, and you know exactly what it is. And don't try to leave anything out. Remember, it is very important that we look directly at what we're afraid of. You have to do that. You have to look directly at what you're afraid of, because it's not really there. It's only when we identify with the ego, which is who we are not, that we see something that is not there. But whenever we identify with who we really are, which is a creation and child of God, which is love and light and made in the likeness and image of God, this great creator, which is also who me and you are, then we know that in that moment we can't see those things that we're fearful of, because we know with the capital N that they're capital K, my bad. We know with the capital K that they are not there, simply not there. But it's only when we identify with the ego, which is very easy for us to do because we were raised in a world that is so egocentric and so fear based, that it's a habit of ours to fall asleep in this world and go back into the fear. Now, what we are going to do right now, regardless of if you're awoke right now or you feel like you're not fully here yet, we are going to look at things that we know have been causing us fear. It could be a financial situation, a person, where you're afraid something's going to happen soon, or you're afraid something's not going to happen. All of those thoughts, you know exactly what they are. Like usual, I use these basic examples, but you know exactly what it is that you need to look directly at, and then say, God is the strength in which I trust. Now, just take a minute and to do that, and we'll be good. Let's go ahead and continue. But yes, today we need to take a good few minutes to do this lesson like usual. If we really, really want to be awake forevermore and not worry about those tiny little illusions that we think are there and that appear and feel so real when we're asleep, if we don't want to deal with that no more, we have to be very willing to do these lessons. We have to be really willing to understand truth and knowledge. And truth and knowledge is everywhere. You don't even have to read this. This is just a great way, based off of all the things that I've done that helped me understand this in a way that is just, it's simple and easy and direct and telling you exactly what to do. This may not be your path, which I think it is because you're still here 47 days strong. But if it's not, don't feel like you have to do any of this if you feel uncomfortable with it. The fact that you feel uncomfortable with doing this is either one of two things, and this was how it was for a few people that I've known. Either you are not ready for this information, and or it is just not the right path for you, and there is no right or wrong path. Every path will lead you to who you really are if you see if you see it for what it really is. But it's hard to see things for what they really are when you don't have the trained mind to do so, when you don't have vision to do so. So this is why this course is very powerful, because it's helping us unlearn the way we're currently seeing, which is blocking us from seeing at all. It's helping us unlearn that way of life, so that way we can see truth, and truth is everywhere. And I promise you that this is what you want. This is what I want, and I am going to follow God's way, because I know that that's going to get me to where I want to be, and it already has. And I know that if you've been following this way, that you're already exactly where you want to be, and you know that you're going to continuously evolve. Any other way that is not God's way is definitely the ego's way, and that is just going to lead us deeper and deeper into this world of illusion, thinking that we're going to find salvation in something or someone else, which is just not so. Me and you are more powerful than we think. But whenever we give that power up to something or someone that we believe is greater than we are, then we give away all our power. And in that moment, we are powerless, and we're looking for help somewhere where it cannot be found, because help is within. And whenever you find help and we get to this point, you understand that you only need help whenever you're in your wrong mind. I only need help whenever I'm in my wrong mind. But right now, because I'm woke and I know who and what I am and the power that lies within me, I no longer need help, because there's nothing to be helped from. There's nothing to be saved from. This right here is the real world. This right here is just a moment of enlightenment that we can experience for longer than a moment. We could experience this at first for a moment, and we practice those moments, and it turns into a few minutes, which is very great, because most people don't even get there for a few minutes consistently every day. Most people don't even, and I'm saying most people, and I'm talking about myself as well. Before I came to this point to where I've came to, I was asleep, and I would only reach this state of enlightenment for a little instant. It was a little glimpse of happiness, and then I would go right back asleep into the world of illusions where my ego wanted me to be at. But now that I've practiced those tiny little moments, I began staying there for a good 3-5 minutes, strong due to my focus, and then I fell back asleep because something grabbed my attention from this world and put me back asleep. But then I woke back up, because power of awareness. I was aware that I was sleeping. I woke back up, stayed awake, and now hours there's hours that me and you could go feeling this way, and then you practice that, and soon you'll know you're going to experience days where you just are woke the whole day. The moment you wake up, you just feel so blessed and grateful, and you trust God is taking you where you need to go today. You trust God is going to introduce the people that you need to know today, and you trust that God is going to speak through you and say the things that you need to say in order for this situation to go as best as it possibly can for any parties involved. And you wake up that way, you go through your day that way, you are so grateful before you go to sleep, and you're just enjoying everything single thing that's around you, every single conversation, every single everything. You're just enlightened for that day, and you practice that, and it turns into weeks where you're just enlightened, living this world on autopilot, because it turns that those weeks turn into months, turn into years, and soon we will finally understand what it means to be who we really are on a basis more often than not. And whenever you experience this more often than not, it is such a great feeling. And I'm telling you that no, I could tell somebody this right now, and no matter how much smile I have on my face, and no matter how much great words I use and string them together in a way that they'll understand, it's on experience. So none of that really matters, because although I'm experiencing it, me trying to get that person to experience this is something that they have to be willing to do, but they can't be willing to do something that they are not even aware exists. So that's why it's very crucial for me, and even you, if you want to help someone understand what you are experiencing, you have to help them understand in a way that they will understand by knowing what they're interested in this world, and using those pinpoints to kind of lead them to the direction of remembering and reawakening and enlightenment. So that's kind of why it gets a little challenging to explain this to somebody who is not here, because although, again, all these great words and analogies and examples are being presented, it's an experience, and depending on where that person is on this scale, if we're all the way up here and someone is on powerlessness, we can't get them to feel powerful and remember their power, because that's so far of a jump. And although it is possible, more often than not, this person is not in the right mindedness to make that big of a leap, which is why you have to, if you're really on the journey with me that I am on waking people up, you have to meet them where they're at, tune into that station, and then turn the tuner gradually and lift them up to where you're at. And that takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of skill. And one thing that you have to keep in mind is you can't lift nobody up to where you're not at. So if I wasn't in this state of enlightenment that I'm at right now, I would be in no position to help someone else get to where I am, or else they would be only getting to level 8 whenever level 15 is where we're both trying to really get to. And although I think I'm on level 15, but I'm on 8, I can't take them to level 15. So that's just a great way of understanding everyone is on a different journey in relationship to their reawakening. And just know that you have to put yourself first in a selfish way, meaning, and not like in an ego way, but you have to put yourself first in a way where you help yourself get to level 15, so that way you can help someone get to that level as well, because you can't help nobody get to where they want to be if you're not already there to begin with. So, and even then it goes deeper. You're helping people right now, even if you're on level 1, you're helping people who are a little bit below that get, even if you're unaware. That's how miracles work. Miracles, you're offering miracles all the time and you don't even know about it. I'm offering miracles all the time and I don't even know about it, because they are touching people that I may have not ever even met based off of a deed or something that I've said or done. It extends outward in this universe and people are touched by me and you that we may be unaware of. So remember, you're always helping people whether you know it or not. Even if you're in the deepest of sleep and you're identifying with the ego, you are literally helping someone who is just a little bit below that, lifting them up. But what we're talking and discussing about here is that whenever we are consciously doing this work, then what I said applies. We have to kind of meet that person where they're at and then know how to tune them up to the different frequencies. But again, going back to the statement where I said you got to be a little bit selfish, not in an ego type of way, but in a way that you are saying, okay, I have to fill up my cup before I could pour into somebody else's cup without having lack in me. I have to know that, first of all, I'm a child of God and I cannot lack nothing at any moment in time. And only when I'm aware of that can I share that knowingness and knowledge and help someone understand that as well. Because we can't help someone understand a state of mind that we're not even in. And one more thing I do want to say before we continue, because I know I've been rambling for a little bit, is that I love to help people and you may too, but don't make it a thing where you need to change someone. Like, I just live my life, you feel me? And if I see somebody is in the vicinity of understanding, I'm gonna throw them some gems. And if someone is not in the vicinity of understanding and they're way in a deep sleep, I'm still going to use techniques that I say things in specific ways that will help them just be lifted up a little bit, and they will feel that glimpse of enlightenment that me and you are feeling on a consistent basis. I will help them get there. So we'll talk more about this as we go on with these lessons, but for now, I'm gonna get back to what we came here for and let's continue. But just remember, God is the strength in which I trust. Now, try to slip past all concerns related to your own sense of inadequacy. It is obvious that any situation that causes you concern is associated with feelings of inadequacy, for otherwise you would believe that you could deal with the situation successfully. It is not by trusting yourself that you will gain confidence, but the strength of God in you is successful in all things. The recognition of your own frailty is a necessary step in the correction of your errors, but it is hardly a sufficient one in giving you the confidence which you need and to which you are entitled. You must also gain an awareness that confidence in your real strength is fully justified in every respect and in all circumstances. I'm going to pause right there real quick and read that one more time and discuss that. You must also gain an awareness that confidence in your real strength is fully justified in every respect and in all circumstances. Confidence is fully justified. Knowing who you are, knowing that you have power is fully justified. Now let's understand this real quick. People who are identified with the ego may look at us and they see that we know we're powerful and we know our power and we are creators and we are confident, and to them that may appear as cockiness, or that may appear as us trying to be better than, or something of that nature, some insane thought that they may think. But what me and you are really experiencing here is something that we are justified in, because this feeling of enlightenment, of knowing your power and knowing who and what you are, and that you are a creator and that you have creative abilities, knowing that is fully justified, because that is in fact who me and you are at the very core of our being. That love and light that we always talk about is exactly all of those attributes: powerful, creator, eternal, infinite. All of those attributes are what me and you possess right now, and so does that person over there. But because they're identified with the ego, they're going to see that as something that is making them feel inadequate, and they don't want to feel inadequate. Therefore, they put the fear that was within them and project it on us, so that way it makes them feel like they are justified in experiencing what they are experiencing, and making it feel like we are wrong, so that way they feel right. These are some little tactics that the ego and people who are identifying with the ego use in order to make themselves feel justified in feeling the way that they do. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that most likely makes them feel a little bit better. But we just have to understand, don't take that so personally. Just understand that everyone is where they're at, and it's different for everyone. Everyone's on their own path, and me and you are very justified in feeling the powerfulness that we do right now. And this is in fact our true nature. And some people are ready to know this, and there's some people that are not ready to know this, and everyone's perfectly fine where they're at. And just know that you are doing the most that you can in any moment in time by being aware of what me and you are discussing right now. This is very powerful stuff, and if we're not aware of this, we are going to just fall asleep again. And I keep saying fall asleep because that's exactly what it is. Although in this body you may appear awake and moving around and doing things with your hands and taking action, you could be in a low vibrational state of mind, and that is synonymous with the term falling asleep. Because if you're not in the state of happiness, remember, happiness is your function. Happiness is my function. And whenever we're not feeling happiness, when we're feeling anything less than happiness and joy and love and freedom and adequacy, we are simply asleep, because who we really are is all of those attributes. And when we are not being those attributes, we are not functioning. So let's go ahead and continue. In the latter phase of the practice period, try to reach down into your mind to a place of real safety. You will recognize that you have reached it if you feel a sense of deep peace, however briefly. Let it go. Let go all the trivial things that churn and bubble on the surface of your mind, and reach down and below them to the kingdom of heaven. There is a place in you where there is perfect peace. There is a place in you where nothing is impossible. There is a place in you where the strength of God abides. During the day, repeat the idea often. Use it it as your answer to any disturbance. One more time. During the day, repeat the idea often. Use it as your answer to any disturbance. Remember that peace is your right because you are giving your trust to the strength of God. That is a powerful lesson. And I just understood that on such a deeper level than ever before. And I hope that you did too. Just know that me and you are only on lesson 47, which we just completed. So tomorrow we'll be going to lesson 48, which is very minimal compared to 365 lessons. So this is only the beginning of our journey. And I don't even like using that word because there is really no journey to take. If you feel me, you feel me. Like, this state of being is who you are. You don't have to attain something that you are. It's only releasing stuff that is blocking you from seeing that, which is why I use journey in a way that you have to take lightly, because journey appears like something that's going to take 365 days. Journey appears as something that is going to take a long amount of time in this world, but an instant is all it takes to be in this state of mind. Therefore, I use the word journey very lightly, but we are going to, what I should say is, practice this state that we're feeling right now, so that way it becomes, once again, normal. This is where we always are. This is where you can always be. And it's good to know that, because this is where you want to be. And the only reason why we feel like we wouldn't want to be here all the time is if we are identifying with the ego, who wants us to remain asleep, so that way its existence can appear like it's real, although the ego doesn't exist at all. Only love exists. Fear does not exist. And all these terms and repetition of these terms that we have been using is very necessary for us to strengthen this idea in our mind. So just know that I am being very repetitious on purpose, and the course is also being very repetitious on purpose, because we know that by repeating this so many times, it's going to build those neural pathways in your brain that are going to become strengthened and strengthened and strengthened. And if that even sounds like too far-fetched for some people, then I use the exact opposite. Well, your whole life you thought you were lacking. We thought we were broke. We thought that we were not good enough, and that was just a weak little thought that we began to think so much, and so much repetition, that now we believe that that's who we are, which is so much further from the truth, which is why we're repeating the truth so much, so that way this can become what it really is, and just disperse back into the nothingness from which it arose, should I say. So one day at a time, you feel me? This is such a good moment to be alive. Just know that this moment is the only moment that matters. Whenever you find yourself preoccupied with past thoughts or anticipating the future, it's okay to travel to the past and travel to the future, but do it deliberately. Know, okay, I'm in the past right now, but I'm awake again, and I'm going to deliberately think about what I'm thinking about in the past, but I'm going to know that I'm doing it right now in this instant, and if I feel good while doing so, then I am creating good, and if I feel bad while doing so, then I am creating more of that, and situations and events and circumstances will manifest that will make me feel more of that emotion, which is why I have to be very careful with the thoughts I think. Better said, I have to be very careful with the way I feel, which is an indication of whether or not I am thinking thoughts in relationship to how God is thinking them and looking at them. So it's a lot of practice that we need in order to maintain this on a consistent basis and a more often than not basis. But sheesh, 30 minutes went by of me and you having this conversation, and you're still here. So I know that this is meant for you, this is meant for me, and this is a journey that at this moment in time in this world is not meant for a large amount of people, which is why you should be very proud of yourself for being willing enough to be here right now in this moment. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of myself. Let's go ahead and clap it up for each other. And until tomorrow, I will see you for lesson 48 of A Course in Miracles.